Good morning. Oh, it is Kwak TV, day 2 of Coaches Week. And I tell you what, I am feeling it today. So before I bring today's guest on, I cannot wait. So remember, if you are watching live, you are watching Kwak TV, because why watch crap TV where you can watch Kwak TV? With me, Cal K from Kwak Talks. And if you are watching this live, please jump in the comments. And if you are jumping on replay, please put #replay. And remember, you can catch every single one of my replays on YouTube as well. Every single one of them. Fantastic. But yes, I'm feeling it today. And one thing I want to show off today is my lovely private rhinestone personalised cup that I got. Yes, one of a kind, people. You're not allowed one because it's mine. Claire Napper, fabulous woman. Absolutely fabulous. Good morning, Mr. Rob Lee, off the mark. Good morning, Kirsty Hall from KH Services. Anyone needing some social media help, slide into Kirsty's DMs for me. But yes, sir, today I'm not going to mess about. I'm going to do my days of the year like I normally do. Ooh. Mr. Ben Kelly, good morning, sir. Fabulous. So yes, I'm going to do my days of the year like I normally do because I really like it. And then I'm going to bring on my fabulous guest today, who's the one and the only Mr. Brad Burton. So before then, the days of the year. Today is a fabulous, fabulous day. It is Doctors' Day. So today is time to celebrate all them doctors. So on your social media, let's get some NHS posts out there. Let's say thank you to them doctors because it is Doctors' Day. It's also take a walk in the park day. Is there a park near you? Technically, you can now walk with a friend. So make sure you grab a picnic and go for a walk in the park. Apparently, it's also Pencil Day. Do you know what? I hate pencils. Does anyone remember when you was in school, you used to do hardcore colouring, put blisters on your fingers because you'd like proper go for it? I friggin' hate pencils. Absolutely hate them. Oh, I know for a fact this is Mr. Lee Gleason. Good morning, Lee. Hope you are well, love. It is also, remember, endometriosis. I can say the word properly. Awareness Month. So, you know, that ends at the end of March. But endometriosis. We'll get there in the end. Put my frigging teeth in. Month. So make sure you celebrate that on your social media as well. And yes, Rob, it is meant to be a lush day today. It is looking fabulous. This is my live weather forecast. Just, yep, it's looking pretty dandy. But yes, so as we know, this week it is Coaches Week. Yesterday, you had Cara with a K, good old Cara Wood, was interviewing me. So I wasn't in charge of my own show, which is pretty damn scary. But it was fabulous, so make sure you go and check that out. And today we have another fabulous, fabulous guest along with a lineup. And actually, it was this guest booking in for me, which was a lovely surprise, first of all. And secondly, that stemmed me doing Coaches Week. And I owe this man quite a lot of thanks. So with no further ado, so I'm about to bring on the UK's #1 business motivational speaker, 4-time best-selling author. What else? Kingmaker program. Now what club? What? Anything else I can throw in there? Founder of Network Central, which has all the N's. 1N, 2N, which we'll hopefully find out soon. 3N and 4N, which is networking, and it is absolutely fabulous. So with no further ado, I'm about to bring him on. Good morning, Mr. Brad Burton.
Kate, how you doing, star?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Kicking ass, as always.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Honestly, really, really appreciate it. So, Brad, just in case people have been living under a rock, who are you and what do you do? Just in case.
So, depends on which Brad you want. Either the old one, who's left school with no qualifications, done 4 years on benefits, brought up as a single child, got shot at when I was 21, delivered pizzas at 31, been addicted to drugs twice. Or are we talking the guy who's the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, 4-time best-selling author, the founder of 4 Network, and the founder? You get the point. So the reality is, what I do is I think I make a positive difference. That's what I've always intended to do. And I'm actually quite religious, as you well know. And my religion is called Bradism. Help many, hurt few, live life. And that's how I live my life, is I do what I can to make a positive difference.
Brad, you talk, obviously, the big statistic that most businesses fail in the first 10 years, right? How old is your business, Network Central, which was originally 4 Networking? How old is that? And the fact you just made it through the past 12 months says a lot. So how old is 4N in the original?
So 4 Networking is 15 years old, and statistically, 94% of businesses fail in the first decade. And, I've got no qualifications, I've got no MBA, we didn't have any investment. But what we had was 3 things: ideas, vision, and belief. And it's about belief. It's about belief. It's about belief. And if you don't 100% believe in your business, like 100% believe in your business, you've got no chance. But I've actually been in business now for a year and a half before 4 Networking. So I've been in business now for 16 and a half years. I'm 48. So half of my adult life has been devoted to self-employment. And a third of my entire life devoted to, which is crazy when you think about it, because some people end up doing 1 year doing this, then 2 years without, 1 year without Bitcoin. And I've stayed the course with one thing, and something I said before off camera, which was this whole thing about concentrate on the small picture, and the big picture will paint itself. And so many people come at it, they want this big picture stuff. Nah.
Yeah, completely right. And you know what I love about you, you're very raw to the core. So how did, you know, everything getting, you know, brought up, being from Salford through, I can do all this crap that I know that you do, because, you know, Northerner. It's how would you say all of that has helped influence Brad Burton and starting Foreign and everything else? How did all that help actually like build all of that?
Great call. So one of the things that I talk about is think about it, that the way that if you've ever played a role-playing game, Callum, not like that, right? I know you got form you, but if you ever played a role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons or a computer game, you start off as a level 1 wizard, or you start off as a level 1 character, and you choose whether you're a barbarian, you're a wizard, you're a priest, whatever, right? So let's say you choose to be a wizard, and actually you've got 2 magic missiles, and you go and fight a little kobold, and then you're tired and you need to rest. As you go through the game, you level up, and then you become a level 20 wizard, and you can do flame shields, fireballs, summon dragons. What's the difference in level 1 wizard and level 20 wizard? It's the experience. But those experiences come from battles. And most people in life, what they do is they have a battle and they try to get away from it as fast as possible. Now, what I've done is I don't get away from it as fast as possible. What I do is ensure that I've won the fight and I get the experience. And the experience is what levels you up. And that's exactly what I've done with my Kingmaker stuff, with that whole thing about leveling up. So that's been the crucial to me when I look at some of the stuff that has gone on in my life. Ordinarily, it's not particularly, you know, it's something you'd be quite proud of. However, I go back far enough on anyone's life, you're going to find something you're not proud of. And what I've done is all these things that I've encountered, whether it's getting shot at. No, so I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, you've got a business problem. And I say, how big is that business problem? Well, I've got my council tax going out next week and I've not got the money. It's 800 quid. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the problem? 10 being high. Oh, it's an 8. Okay. And what happens if I go and put 2 bullets through your window over at your home? Where's your 8 now? Is it still an 8? Oh, no, it's a 1. Right. So it's recalibration based on some of the stuff. So when I look at my life, nothing intimidates me. Nothing intimidates me, because when you've been shot at, which is like, that did intimidate me, let me be quite clear. But what it's done is it's recalibrated my thinking. So when people are losing their heads over stuff that is what they consider to be a big problem. See, the really big problem with all of this is an ant doesn't realize it's small until it comes across a human. No idea. It thinks it's massive. And it comes across a human and goes, okay. And that's what I've done with my problems, is that when somebody's got a big problem, and I think this is how I operate, is my ability to actually see through when most people are panicking. I go, no, hang on, there's a way through. Over to you.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's fabulous. Like, there is one question I wanted to ask you, and, you know, it's like that fight off, like, how did you feel when them shots came that way? Obviously, I know you were like, you know what, this is a pinnacle. I know that, you know, this was a pinnacle where you realized, I'm going to move this, you know, wife, family, everything. Yeah. But how did you actually feel in that moment?
So I was 21. How old are you?
25.
Right. So I was 21. So you imagine where you was 4 years ago, right? That mindset. You're partying, going clubbing, you know, free and easy. Everything's good. Everything's easy come, easy go. And then all of a sudden that happens, and I got bounced into kind of from a kid to an adult's world, and it was overwhelming. Didn't know a way through. And actually, the thing is, with overwhelm, what ends up happening is it shuts people down, almost like computers. If you've got so many windows open on your computer, you know, it slows it down, or you've got an app, too many programs open. So actually, what I realized when I look now retrospectively, I'm talking 1995, so I'm talking 26 years ago. I look at that whole thing, and actually, it was overwhelming. But one of the things that I do now, I've got friends of mine who are SAS men, and actually they taught me something. The way the SAS train is that, you know, they get you all the kit and the gun and everything, and throw you in a 10-foot river with a big swell. And you've got to get out of there. If you or I were in that swell, we'd be going, oh my God, I'm going to drown. An SAS person, bang, quick as a flash, they mentally get themselves onto the bank, and they look at that individual and think, right, what are the instructions that I would give them if I was on the bank, not when I'm, and that kind of thing has served me. And I didn't realize until I looked back at it that that's exactly what I do now. So what I do is I take myself out of the problem and actually spend more time in the solution than I was in the problem. And that's, I think, what's managed to get us through in the last year, or certainly a contributing factor.
Love it. And obviously, you know, you touched on Kingmaker, and I know a lot of these things now is why you've built your program Kingmaker. So what is Kingmaker, Brad? What is it, and why did you make it?
It's something that I've had on my to-do list for like 2 years. So this is the air, funny enough. This has just arrived now. And effectively, what it is it's almost like a computer game. So this is the Kingmaker character sheet. If you look at a computer game, right? Any computer game that you've ever played in your life, go back onto that level 1 wizard. Life is the biggest computer game you've ever played. If you want to go and take your clothes off and go and run around the streets, you can do. You choose not to. If you was playing a computer game, you might actually do it. Why? Because there's no risk. It's fun. And this is what I've realized with my life. And I've realized that actually this whole process is based on your ability. You think about me now as an individual. Me going back to Manchester, right? And me now. What's changed? I've changed the way that I think about the world. And what Kingmaker is 10 weeks of getting your ass kicked Brad style, but in a positively benign way. And actually, these are the kind of lessons that I've learned myself that have got me from this Salford street kid to a businessman. It's the same set of skills. And I tell you, you know, when I look at the way that I approach my life now, if I knew what I knew now when I was 21, wow. But you don't, but what, you know, right now, with all of us, everyone who's tuned into this, plus yourself, there's a battle going on. Battle going on between two versions of ourselves. There's a good, positive, benign version, and there's a constructive, there's a destructive, negative, dark version, right? Now, going back many, many moons ago, and I believe it was almost like my own Brad Burton Brexit, 49%, 51%, the good, bad version, flim-flamming to decide which one's going to win me as an individual. And I think I'm now 95% good, 5% still got that old elements there.
Yeah.
If you come back to me in 2012 when I wrote this book, I would have been 51%, 49% flim-flamming between those two versions of myself. And this is what I've cracked with Kingmaker, that ability to be able to engage the more positive version of yourself, the version that does look after themselves, not the version that's destructive, drugs, philandering, drinking, whatever shit people do, right, when the doors are shut. And that's what I've managed to do. I've managed to engage that better version of myself, and that's what we do with Kingmaker. But once again, with any stuff that I ever come up with, whether it was that or cards on the table, you know, or one networking, people always say it'll never work. And every step of the way, you know, these people that tell me it never worked, people tell me how to run my network. People say, oh, yeah, you can run it better. Well, actually, have you run a network with thousands of members? No. Well, in which case, with the greatest respect, you don't know what the fuck you're on about. So every step of the way, I've had people tell me that I've got it wrong for networking, one networking, me being a motivational speaker, me writing books. And every step of the way, I've proved them wrong. And that's what you've got to do. And you've got to find that within, because you're going to get people going to try to talk you out of things. Because if I had listened to my wife, I'd never have started for networking. And therefore, there would be none of these books. There'd be no for networking. You and I wouldn't be talking now. Would the Kwak TV exist? I've no idea. But just think about the impact that that's had. Would that TV show that I'm working on at the moment, would that have been an impact? You know, there's lots of stuff here that all started because somewhere along the way, I chose to do it my way.
Yeah, completely right. And do you know what? Like, what does it? So there's a couple of things I'm probably going to dive into right there, but what does it feel like having the possible weight of these people's businesses and livelihoods on your shoulders? Because that must be heavy. Like, that must be real heavy.
Great question. I cannot be responsible for everyone else's business. What I can be responsible for is ensuring that they've got the best chance. I will fight for the underdog. Absolutely, that's what I do. But the underdog's going to want to fight for themselves. Right? I can't do anyone's press-ups for them. But that was a big responsibility for me going back 12 months ago, because I recognised that actually if this would have gone kaput, then everything would have gone kaput for so many people. But once again, I cannot go to the SES training.
Yeah.
I can't put myself in the swell. What about all the pressure of all these people? Because that doesn't help me have clean thought and clean clarity. So what I did is said, okay, on the bank, what do I need to do to ensure that this thing works secondary thing that it works for all these individuals. So I didn't get myself embroiled in that beyond the cursory thing because it wouldn't have been helpful. Putting yourself under more pressure, we'll talk about decision making, better decisions faster. This whole thing, which is people under stress don't make great decisions. So therefore, when people are making decisions and they're stressed out, they're likely to be making bad decisions. So actually what I'm about is about getting my stress levels down before I make a decision that is key.
Yeah, and it's having that mentality and everything, isn't it? That's now allowed, and also everything you've built to give you some of the opportunities that you've come your way. So you've worked with Costa, Bentley, JCB, you've worked with some massive names, which is fucking awesome, to be honest. That's the other way you can say it. It's fucking awesome. What does that feel like from that Salford kid, right? If you told you at the age of 10, you was going to be working with Bentley, which is probably the bigger names out of all of them.
Of course.
What did that feel like? What would that 10-year-old feel like?
You don't actually, it's funny because it's a bit like saying to a fish, what's the water like?
Yeah.
The fish says, what water? You don't actually realize you're in it. It's only when I take stock and reflect now, I go, gee whiz, look at what I've achieved. And that's the thing people say to me. I had somebody on Clubhouse tell me I've got self-limiting beliefs. And I thought to myself, okay. So just to be clear, I'm a Salford lad from Manchester, lived in council estates and masonets above chippies all my life, and I've lived on Tesco's beans and waffles. And somewhere along the way, I now live in a detached house in Somerset. No one's getting shot. I've written 4 books. I've run successful businesses. I've got a daft car. I've got my own arcade machine. I've got self-limiting beliefs. Yeah. And this is the thing in life. People will try to tell you that you've got to do it a different way. I'm quite happy with my life. If all my life was ever this, that I'd spoke at these conferences and this, that, and the other, I'm happy. And this is the thing that so many people try to tell you that you need to do more. Why? Where I'm at right now is I'm about 48 years old. I'm in a position in my life that I never thought was possible. And what I mean by that is I can go back to whenever Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. I couldn't afford, I was £3 short or £4 short. I'd gone through all my thing. I didn't have £3-4. I was like, I didn't have anywhere to go, no more money. I've been in the glove compartment. I've done a lot, but nothing left. So I remember whatever the date that was when I was at Skin. And I look at this and I think to myself, it's a bit like pontoon or blackjack. The idea is to get 21. Well, I'm at an 18. I'm quite happy sticking. I'm all right here. Yeah, but if you really worked hard, you could go and get a what? What could I go and get that I've not got at the moment? Well, you could get a Lamborghini, right? Why? Well, because then you could say you've got a Lamborghini. Tell you what I'd rather have than a Lamborghini is no stress. I'd rather have myself nice and relaxed. And this is the thing. So have I got self-limiting beliefs? Has my ambition run out? Has my ability run out? It's one of them's run out, ambition or ability. Or maybe, just maybe, I'm quite happy with my lot, because this is what happens while we're in a mess as an economy, and also as a globe, as an earth. Hyper consumption of shit that we don't really need because society tells us we need it. And actually, I'm not getting all hippie like, but what I'm trying to say is how much is enough? How much is enough love, enough money, enough time, enough computers, enough tellies, enough inches on your telly? How much is enough? Leave it, Callum. Right? But you see what I'm saying? There comes a point when enough is enough.
Yeah, it really does. And what is perfect? What is perfect? Show me it, because it doesn't exist. Nothing is perfect, which is why I love the phrase "done is better than perfect." It's so important. It really is.
It's funny because running a network like 4 networking and 1 networking and 3 networking, Network Central, you're going to get it where people say there's problems with it. And I recognize, and I say this, every time anyone ever says to me, there's a problem with that, I go, let me ask you a question. It's a straight question. Be really honest. Is your business perfect? Well, when you go no, and then people say no, well, so why not? Because I can see what needs to be changed, and there's either a resource thing or it's timings or whatever, or priorities. And as a leader, you, me, us, we end up having a full assessment of everything that we're playing with. And so many people, like I say, you can look at something externally, look at any business and say, that needs fixing. The website's pony, the process was out. Everyone can do that. But actually, it takes time. And I go back on to what I said. I've been in business now with 4 networking for 15 years. 15 years. So I've seen this thing evolve, and I also know the resources that we're playing with. We have done this beautifully as a team. with Jen and Pips to have brought through in this last 12 months. Because let me be quite clear, 12 months ago, now, as of now, we was in trouble. We was in trouble, like everyone. You know, you got £1 million plus business, and it was plus, but then some. £1 million plus business. COVID comes along, lockdown, bang, to nothing, £0, nothing. However, what's really good, go back onto what I talked about the Kingmaker thing, level 1, level 20 wizard. I'm a level 20 wizard, right? So I've been through all these battles before. I've had no money. 2012 was my worst year. 2021 or 2020 was toy compared to that. Toy. Like, genuinely. It was like that, 2012, for me, that year was 5 times worse than the last year. I swear to you. So the fact that I got through that meant it prepared me. It goes back down to what I said when it comes to experience. If I'd not gone through that, I'd still be a level 5 wizard and it would be overwhelming, right? Having gone through that period, it prepared me for any kind of battle that you've got coming. But, you know, I go through it and, you know, team members, members of the network, and also the HQ staff, you know, we did beautifully as a collective. And I did say, and anyone who knows me knows I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, it's happening. When somebody comes to me as part of my club and says, hey, Brad, I've got a problem, I let them tell me the problem. And I say, you've got no problem. And they go, what do you mean? Trust me, if you had a problem, I would tell you you've got a problem. And actually, you know, the reality is that if I say you've not got a problem, you've not got a problem. And that means it's sorted. And that's nice and encouraging for people, you know, that I can do that. But I would only do that if I truly believed that, you know, that I didn't have a problem. I never lied to anyone. Like, I'm brutally honest. Probably too brutally honest, if I'm honest, the way that my approach to business and life, and maybe my bedside manner could do with a bit of spoonful of sugar with the medicine.
You're not perfect.
But I'm not perfect, but my style works for me. I'm comfortable with helping people. And some people would rather have comfortable lies than uncomfortable truths. And actually, if you want uncomfortable lies, go elsewhere. You want, you know, do you know what I'm saying? Uncomfortable lies. Uncomfortable truth, come see me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Brad, I'm going to touch on, because I normally do my homework for my guests coming on, but Rob Lee actually dropped it in the chat. So, TV show. If anyone looks at Brad's Instagram, you might see a couple of sneaky little pictures on there. Brad, what's going on, mate? What's going on?
So you've seen Who Dares Wins, SES, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that, but with police force and the armed police, that kind of vibe. So that's as much as I'm taking it there.
Oh, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So, Brad, what is the next 12 months looking like for you? What is it looking like?
Yeah. You know, once again, people say to me now, but what's my next goal? My next goal is to continue doing what we are and actually making a positive difference. My complete MO, honestly, and I mean this sincerely, I don't know anyone that has achieved every single one of their goals in life. Every single one of their goals. I've done it. And it's like, what is that about? Now, maybe I could have bigger goals. Or maybe I could just enjoy that I've achieved. You know, when you complete the game, you don't go, oh, let's go play another game. Just take a moment out, really. And actually, you know, the teams are doing beautifully. Pips, Jen, with the networks, the membership networks are doing beautifully. The whole thing is just working as it should be. And I think where I'm really good at is about coming up with ideas and concepts which actually no one else would do. No one else would be brave enough. And it's funny because as soon as I started coming through with this whole, you know, jeans trainers t-shirt routine and people saying you can't be a motivational speaker, why not? Shaved head tattoos, you're from Salford, you look like a drug dealer. I'm not, by the way, anymore. But we can all change. And I think what I've done is I've been a pathfinder almost for this industry, in that actually I've proved that you don't have to have a 3-piece suit and a pocket watch and having walked over the Great Wall of China on a fucking pogo stick. You know, and actually I've proven that I wouldn't be much of a motivational speaker if all those things that had happened to me in my life, or I'd managed to decide or made decisions to get me in those situations, hadn't happened. So for me, it's continue to make a difference, continue to bring people through and help other people find their dreams. And it's not bullshit, like genuinely, not necessarily dreams, hit their goals. I'd probably say more appropriate. So help other people hit their goals.
Yeah. And do you know what, Brad, for us to finish up on, because we've been talking for ages, which is awesome, is, what piece of advice or knowledge would you pass back to your 21-year-old self?
Wear a condom.
I knew I was either going to be really serious or really not. But
that is the most serious bit of advice you can give any 21-year-old.
I absolutely love that. But no, I know your kids are a big impact in your life, aren't they? That, you know, that they're everything for you, aren't they?
Well, you know what? I think families, because actually, if I was single, don't get me wrong, it'd be wonderfully hedonistic and party. But there comes a point when the party stops being fun. At which point, you know, you move on to the next stage. I've been with my wife now 24 years or 25 years. You know, it hasn't always been perfect, but it's not. But what we've done, we've maintained and we've built on that, you know, where we started. And family's good for me, and it keeps me grounded. If it wasn't for tattoos and my kids, if it wasn't for, they give me strength out, by the way. I've been backstage before now having to speak, and I'm going, it happens, right? It's about 3 years ago. I remember going, you know, they're all hyping me up on stage. I've got 400 people there, Brad Burton, this, that, and the other. And I'm backstage, bam, 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 gone out, and the curtain's back, hi. You know, but that kept me going, and that, like, genuinely gives me strength. And that's what I do. You find strength, because actually it's a whole, if it was left to me and I didn't have family, I'd just be smoking bongs all weekend. And actually, I think, you know, when my kids came along, it kind of made it more serious and more realistic, and things that I needed to focus on.
Love it. Brad, is there anything you'd like to let us finish on? Any final words of advice or wisdom before we go about our fabulous day?
Like, just remember what I talked about, you know, that this whole thing, that religion of mine, live through that. You're going to get it where people are going to dislike you for your decisions. You're going to get it where people don't agree with every decision. But as long as you agree with the decision, you're good. So my religion, help many, hurt few, live life. Bradism.
Love it. Brad, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm going to kick you backstage, and if you hover around, I'll just have a quick natter with you. Lovely to see you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, friend. Keep going. Bye.
Oh, honestly, I'm so glad I got that man on the show, because he has got a busy schedule. Busy. But yes, so that is day 2 of Coaches Week with Mr. Brad Burton, the man himself. So make sure you go check out bradburton.biz to find out everything that is going on with him. And remember, tomorrow we have got the fabulous Taz Thornton on the show. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 9:30, with Taz Thornton, the lady herself. Have a fabulous Tuesday. Have a fabulous week. And remember, if you can't be good, be careful. Can't be careful, don't get caught.